Welcome back to Furuno Connections. Today we continue on with our radar shootout. We're going to take the skiff out and we're going to run it to different distances within the channel. We're going to see which radar is able to separate the boat from the land itself. It's a pretty amazing feat because we're talking really close quarters here. You're not going to want to miss this, so let's get started.
This test right now is a close-in radar performance test. We're in the mangroves on the south side of Key Marathon, and we're looking at the radars and how close we can get to the for targets to get in between the mangroves and still see them. So right now you can see that our radar is set up to be able to watch that 17-foot skiff come back. And when he is pretty much in the middle, we can separate him, or maybe off to the side a little bit. But it's really tight, and this is a really good test for close-in radar target discrimination and target separation performance.
Seeing him cross right there.
So as he's coming back. Pretty tough challenge for these dome radars. You just see that bump coming at us right there? Yep, that's him. But he's blended in with the mangroves on the left side. So there he is right there. Just start to separate. Yeah. Boom. Right there. See that? Okay. All right, so now he's got good separation.
That's about 20 feet off the mangroves right there.
Yeah.
So that's him 20 feet off. Kind of blends a little bit there, but
got separation right there, not bad.
Yeah, you can see him.
Yeah. So here you'll see we'll be able to separate that skiff as he gets closer towards the middle.
So we have a really good shot of him coming in. He's about 30 feet this time off the mangroves, coming in so you can clearly see him.
All right, Cam, we just got out of Boot Key Harbor. We're it looks like we're in some kind of creek or channel. Where are we?
Yeah, we call this Sister's Creek, and it cuts from Boot Key Harbor back onto the Atlantic Ocean side of the island. So it's a little creek we take to get through.
All right, awesome. So what we want to do here at the radar test is we want to see how well defined the edges of the creek would be. You know, if we saw some boats in the creek, how well we could pick them up with, you know, some heavy, dense targets on either side of us. We're going to zoom in on the screen. We're going to show you what we're seeing right now. So what we're seeing is we are seeing the left side of the creek here, and we're starting to pick up the right side of the creek here. But one thing we've got to point out is that this main bang area here, this blind spot in the radar, you know, is really evident now that we're up against these mangroves, you know, up here on the right-hand side. You know, that's going to be a blind spot in your radar, and it looks to be about 1/32 of a mile. It's about 165 feet. So, Cam, knowing that, you know, as much as you run, and much as you're running at night, if you knew you had about a 165-foot blind spot in your radar, is that something you feel comfortable navigating around with?
Not at night. Definitely not. No,
Okay.
I mean, that's the difference between seeing a channel marker if you're on plane kind of moving and not seeing the channel marker, which could be bad. So.
Yeah, that'd be a bad day in a channel marker.
Definitely not.
I don't think Captain Jack would like that phone call very much.
I wouldn't enjoy that one at all.
So, all right. So yeah, this is you know, definitely just a good example of what the main bang does, and you know, how it can affect your radar view. Our radar is running on 1/16 of a nautical mile. We're in harbor mode. So the skiff is running right down the middle. We are able to see him run right here down the middle, right in front of us. What we're looking to do is we're going to see him, you know, make a turn and have him come down one of the edges. And what we're looking to see is if we get that target separation between the edge of the mangroves and the skiff. He's going to make that turn soon, and we're going to be able to see what happens here, what the skiff does, if we're going to be able to see him clearly or if he's going to look like he's blended into the mangroves. So right now, he's in front of us, and he is blended into this side of the mangroves. So he's spinning around right now. We can see him right here. for a second. He gets blended back into the left side of the mangroves now. And now he's coming right at us. So we're going to be able to see, we can see him. He's blended in on this left side of the mangroves, but we can see that there is an object moving in front of us. Once he gets a little closer, you know, out here in the open, I think we're going to be able to see him as a full target on his own. So, you know, System C is giving us some target separation in these close quarters, but, you know, like we've been seeing all day, you know, up close, System C's just been, you know, lacking a little bit. So he's going to come right up next to us, and once he gets in this main bang area here, this little blind spot on our radar, I think we're going to lose him. You know, we're going to see, he's going to keep coming up here on us right now. So, you know, if we want to zoom out just a little bit, we can see the skiff coming right here off of our bow. And here he is. He's in that main bang zone right now. I can no longer see that skiff. He's right next to the boat, and he's in this main bang. There, he's gone. He's in a blind spot on my radar right now. All right, so for the second part of this test, you know, we had the skiff running right down the middle of the creek. What we're going to do is we're going to have him run one of the edges. You know, if you have two boats approaching, you know, one's going to take one side, one's going to take the other. We're going to see if we can see the skiff once he gets to the edge of the mangroves on our radar here. So here he is off of our right side. We're just starting to pick him up out of that main bang area, and he's going to run right up against those right side of those mangroves, and we're going to see if we can see him there. So we're pouring dead middle of this creek here. You know, we can see the skiff is right up against the mangroves, and unfortunately on System C, we're just not seeing him. You know, maybe we might see him in a pocket. We might see one of these little red notches starting to move, but he's completely blended into those mangroves. Now, when he cuts across and comes back up this left side of the mangroves, we very well may see him cut across there, but that's just going to be for real quick. Yep, there we go. There we can see him. He comes out of the mangroves. He's coming across, but the entire time he's blended in with something. We're just not getting that up-close target separation on this 1/16 of a mile.
One of the things I wanted to point out, guys, is we're getting ready to send Austin away. I was taking a closer look at the radar screen. And remember, I mentioned it is a nice tight channel, but if we have you take a look at the screen as well, what I noticed is all these little items sticking off of land. So this is land, what mangroves. These are all boats, okay, and they're boats that are anchored out, and we're not separating from land, even though they're all on anchor, okay, and we're not showing any target clarity between them. We can see that, you know, it's a bump out, but if we were navigating here where we couldn't physically see the boats, we would not know that's a boat anchored out in channel. There would just be no way of knowing.
And just to let everybody know, this unit is not on default mode. So this is customized to perform at its optimal level.
So we put it in harbor mode,
yes,
right?
we did,
okay,
yes,
yeah, it's a nice tight channel, so that's definitely where we want it.
Yep.
Captain Mike took us to an area that's probably 200 feet wide. I mean, it is really narrow back here. And what we do still have is Austin running around in a 17-foot skiff. So what we want to do is show you how we see him in the middle of the channel. So we have Austin right here in the middle of the channel. Like I said, that's a 17-foot skiff. So Matt, let's let's just follow Austin around as he heads around the boat.
Yeah, he's dead right bow forward and on our port side.
Okay, so that's him right there.
The yeah, so obviously.
Now we just lost him passing us, and that's okay. Let's see what happens when he comes back to the stern of the boat. All right, so he is crossing behind the boat right now. See if we see any movement coming out past the back of the boat. Okay, there he is. We see him right there. Okay, back out to the center of the channel. Now we're just going to have him make one more loop just so you can see, as you know, how when he gets close to land, if he fades away from our viewability on the screen, or if he remains a constant target. Now you see how big he is when he's in the middle of the channel.
Yeah, in the middle of the channel.
Yeah,
it is. And now he's starting to blend with the mangroves.
So, you know, just to let you guys know, the whole purpose of this test is, you know, when you're running around and you're using a radar, you want great target separation, and it doesn't matter if the target separation is other boats or the target separation is another boat you're watching and land. You want that target separation. You want good target resolution, because it's extremely important. If you're cruising along a channel that happens to be near land and there's a boat in that channel, you don't want that boat blending in with the land.
So right now we've got it set on a 16 nautical mile, 16th of a nautical mile range. The channel's looking pretty good. I don't pick up Austin yet because I think he's still in our main bang. Now he should be emerging. See, there he is right there. You can just separate him from the shoreline. He's moving real close, that target right there. So we can pick him up. There he's separate from the tree line, but he's still kind of blending in a little bit, a little more than I'd like. Now let's see what happens when he crosses the channel, because he's going to come off of here, and he should come across the channel, and we should be able to see him at least at that point.
He's already crossed.
That's him right there. Yeah, so that's him, and now he's coming down. He's coming down this side of the channel now. He's going to come up on our port side here real quick. So I can still make him out, although he's not really separating from the tree line. I don't get that line that separates him from the trees. If you were out using this, Manny,
and if it was dark and foggy and I see that, I wouldn't be able to know it was a boat.
You wouldn't know it was him. Okay. That's kind of a bummer. I was really hoping for better resolution because we've had good luck with this pretty much all day. So you can see him over here coming down. Now he's going to start pulling away from the shoreline, and now he's starting to separate. There's his target as he's coming at us. Now he's reading a nice big target right there.
Now that you've seen the dome radars, we want to show you the difference you will see with an open array radar with 200 watts of power and a 1.9 degree beam width. Here you can see a marker just a few feet away from the bow of the boat, and it clearly displaying it on the radar. You can also clearly see the small boat coming at us here on the screen, with 2 markers on the right and a jetty on the left. Notice the target separation between the boat and the jetty. This is due to the higher power output and the smaller beam width. As the radar antenna increases in size, you will get a better target resolution, which makes your radar picture clearer. Again, take a look at how close this marker is to the boat, and it clearly shows up on the radar and tracks it in real time. But the NXT radar is so precise that it is even picking up small targets just above the water. Look at this rock, tree, and jetty. Simply incredible. Well, that was a pretty cool test, wasn't it? It was so amazing to see just how difficult it was for some of the systems to be able to separate the boat from the mangroves themselves. When the skiff was 10 feet from the mangroves, TZT3, System A, and System B were showing movement of the target, but mostly blended into the mangroves. System C did not show any targets. The skiff moved to 20 feet from the mangroves, and TZT3 was getting pretty good target separation, while the other 3 systems were showing it as a target, but still mostly blended in with the mangroves. Finally, when the skiff was 30 feet from the mangroves, all 4 systems were able to fully separate the target. But that wasn't an easy test because that channel really was narrow. Coming up next, we take the boats offshore where we take a look at long-range performance. This is going to be a good test to see just how far each of the radars are able to detect a small target like a 17-foot skiff out on the water. So make sure you tune in to the next episode of Furuno Connections. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and click on the bell below to get notifications for the next time we release new videos. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.